seems the Mad Red Hatter is about to be at serious odds with the Supreme Court over his tariff by tweet policy. We also, as the House is preparing to vote to reopen the government, we have some more Epstein files being released by House Democrats, but even House Republicans aren't a big fan of the bill. And finally, when your opponent is beating themselves, you should not interrupt them. So let's start with pasta. 107% tariff on Italian pasta. Granted, there's no start date for that tariff. Maybe this was one of those things he just says or tweets and dementia kicks in and he forgets or he goes to sleep. But whatever it is, apparently he would like, the Mad Red Hatter would like for pasta to be a lot more expensive. That makes perfect sense. Isn't that making things more expensive? He was going to lower costs. Oh, but I digress. Veterans Day, okay, so the Mad Red Hatter gave a speech. He just cannot help himself. He has to say hateful things. He has to lie and be ugly. He can't possibly just honor America's veterans, who in the past, he seems to have some making up to do. He has called them awful things in the past, and suckers and losers and all these things that he said. And he just, I don't know why they have him speak anymore. Meanwhile, his advisors are telling him they want him to get out more and speak more about the economy because he's losing so badly. I'm kind of in favor of that. Go let more people see how crazy you have gotten, how your dementia has eroded what was left of your mind. Maybe that will help with the election, because I've got news for you. As the Democracy Docket is sending out daily updates on this, they're working all kinds of ways to try to limit votes, restrict votes. They do not want voters to have open and free access to voting places because they know how people are preparing to vote next year at the midterms. Watch for that. You've got to keep pressure on your local election officials to help combat some of these things. Meanwhile, because the House doesn't like, Republicans in the House don't like some of the provisions that House senators put in. One of them would pay 8 of those senators something like $500 million, $500,000 or more if their emails or their phone numbers were subpoenaed in the 2020 investigation. It's so crazy that these guys have written in a $500,000 bonus for themselves, and House Republicans are pissed off about it, but I'm guessing they're still going to vote for it because they don't want to send it back. If they make any changes, they have to send it back to the Senate, and then here we go again. But speaking of the Senate, more in the wake of them passing the 8 Democratic senators and the fact that Chuck Schumer does not have control of his own caucus. You know, this quote is attributed to Napoleon, but I used to hear it all the time when I was working with the NBA, and I worked with Jerry Sloan a lot, legendary head coach of the Utah Jazz. And he would often say, when your opponent is beating themselves, don't interrupt them. And this is true, in the NBA, you have teams doing things that are not smart. And so if you accept their turnovers, you can beat them. And that was his point. This is where the 8 Democrats in the Senate, and I would argue Chuck Schumer, screwed up. Republicans are beating themselves. There's actually something that the majority, the non-MAGA among us, the rational people among us, have figured out, where we understand that Republicans control the House, the Senate, the White House, and the Supreme Court. So all the crap that's going down that hurts people is their fault. So why are Democrats getting in the way of that? That's really not smart. Let's keep an eye on these things. I'm also eager to read some of the Epstein emails and texts that seem to prove that Trump was intimately involved in what was going on with the underage girls. I don't like to pass judgment before we see the evidence, but Democrats in the House are releasing thousands of pages of these things today. Let's keep an eye on that. My name is Bill. I'm a college professor in Dallas, Texas. Thanks for watching.